Welcome to Brookside Close-Up Podcast. I'm Kieran Mahoney. I've been an avid fan of Brookside since 1988. I've been lucky to appear in the show as an extra and on ITV News as a superfan. I'm joined by Louise, another huge Brookside fan who has arranged this podcast today, and also started watching in 1991, around episode 1000 for
Sue Sullivan's murder.
2nd of November 1982, a brand new channel burst onto the screen with a sensational flagship show. This iconic trio made tabloid headlines such as "Channel swore for the gritty yet realistic language." So, we are both honoured to interview Simon O'Brien, who played Damon Grant, Tracy Wilder, who played Ducksie, and Robert Smith, who played Gizmo. I'm sure I speak for myself and Louise as well, that we're just absolutely honoured to have you here. Thank you so much for doing this.
I want to just thank you all for coming today, making the efforts to come and speak about your stories. So my first question is, how did it start? How did you get your parts? And from the very first episode?
Go on, Trey.
There was an audition in the Playhouse Studios, and it was like 2,000 people went for the audition, and we sort of got picked out of all those people.
Yeah.
Phil Redmond, that was it.
Yeah.
There was a brilliant casting director called Janet Goddard, who'd also worked with. Before that, I'd worked with Janet on a thing called Gascon for the BBC, which Mark had been.
We did.
Tracy had done. I'd done. I think you did it.
Yeah, I had a little bit in that as well.
Yeah. Because, and prior to that, so we were actually on the same thing, but me and Tracy knew each other. And that was groundbreaking. It was about this guy who took the social services to court because he went into an office one day and found his file. And Janet Goddard then went on to do the casting for Brookside, and she got hold of some really good actors.
She was also my chaperone as well, because I was only 15. And she was supposed to teach me lessons, and she did.
Yeah, mine was a slightly different route. We all ended up in the same room in the Playhouse, but they came looking for a mate of mine, who's still my mate, Sid Driver, because he'd been in Our Day Out.
Yeah.
And so they got his name, they picked his name out, and so they came to my school, New Ways, and they asked specifically for him. And the English teacher had enough sense to say, well, do you mind if we send some of the other kids along as well? And they went, no, it's fine, off you go. So teacher came in, Jill Day, an amazing teacher. There's always inspiration in you, and Jill Day was an inspirational figure. And she walked in the classroom and said, does anyone want to go for an audition for a new soap that's starting in Liverpool? It's next Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon was double maths stats. My hand shot up. All I thought it was going to be was half a day off school, tell them we get a taxi there and back, get my sister to give us a lift, all good, have a look around the TV set, nice interesting afternoon, and that's that. And the next thing I'm in the room with these guys, and as Tracy says, 2,000 others, with Phil Redmond wandering around going, all right.
Made us do some impros and stuff, didn't
that's right.
We actually did. I remember one of the impros we did, because I was looking through all the paraphernalia I've got in the house yesterday, and our second audition was on the 13th of August 1982, and we did a scene in the Grants, and the scene in the Grants involved one of us had stolen something, and the other two were saying, put it back. And I think I made a really old gag, and Chris Clough, who was doing it, laughed. We did a couple of scenes with them, and then we were lucky enough to get the parts.
Yeah.
It was just nuts. It was completely nuts, because, I know these guys, you're kind of in that world a bit, because you do go in the Everyman Youth and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to be a botanist.
What happened?
Where did it all go? Where did it all go wrong? Honestly, I was just an academic.
Yeah.
No, Simon, I thought he was like totally spot on with your acting. It was dead natural. It was like proper, like you could believable.
Yeah.
So you can't
at the
say
moment,
that it
Damon's in Torquay. I don't know if you remember
They
that.
picked the right guy.
Yeah.
They picked the right guy for Damon. They really did.
Yeah.
Couldn't have got a better one.
But it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And so suddenly my life went in a completely different direction. and it was just, I mean, and then we just had an absolute ball. Certainly
Yeah.
for the first couple of years, it was just crazy.
I mean, I'm not sure I'm getting it right, but I do remember, I think it was round about the early 80s, there was a play called The Children's Crusades.
That's right, yeah.
You were in it?
That's right, I was, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when I met him later on, I was like, looked at him and I said, were you in that Children's Crusade where you carried across the everyman on stage? Like, it was something similar to Joseph, where he was...
Yeah, it was the story. It was the true story of a group of orphans who decided when the Crusades were happening to walk to Jerusalem as the Children's Crusade, and of course they all set off with God on their side, and all of them got sold into slavery, and it was the whole thing turned into a really bad idea. But I just did it. I always had an ulterior motive. Perhaps I always do. Because on that play, it was at the local, that was up at Iron Marsh, in their performance space there. And we found out that if you joined this play, they were doing it as an exchange. So it was going to be performed in Cologne as well. So we went, ooh, trip to Cologne. There you go. So that's it. So we got involved in that. But, but it was always, I always loved the performing. It was just wasn't what I wanted to do at the time until I started doing it.
Mm.
So in other words,
it wasn't your game plan, was it?
So me and Mark are doing all sorts of auditioning and plays. Simon just walked in out for a day off, for a day off school.
It was just nuts. But then we all just got on like a house on fire.
Yeah.
And just caused chaos.
Yeah.
So no arguments then?
Mm.
No,
Never. No falling
How
out.
to get the
No, there was
never a crosswords.
Yeah, never a crossword. Only
Apart from when he went on the missing list and we were waiting for ages
Rob.
for him. He was in London.
Yeah, sorry.
With
Yeah,
Kim Wilde.
yeah. That was a
With
bad
Kim
time.
Wilde.
Yeah, bad time in me life
told us this,
because
Rob.
Like a proper
Yeah.
celebrity.
yeah. What happens is I go to the St John's Wood, as you do on a Sunday night, with Kim Wilde and a boyfriend at the time, and then suddenly I'm there and I'm in someone's gaff, and suddenly I'm like that going, I should be whatever. I should actually be in London, in Liverpool. So, and I'm like checking my pockets, and I'm like,
Call time was 7:15 and
I'm still
We're
getting
still
a
waiting
train
for
at this time.
And of course, with pre-mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone's
of
been
course.
round to his house and all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know where he is.
So I'm coming back, and I'm also in trouble anyway, because at the time I'm checking there was no like cash machine, so I bought a platform ticket, not a normal ticket. So this guy said, right, where's the? I went, so this is a platform ticket, you can't get on, you shouldn't be doing this. And I went, okay, you send this is my address, send me the bill and I'll pay it. And then giving me old address of the flats that were now knocked down. So
So if you're still looking for him, who owes you that train ticket?
yeah, this was British Rail, now they don't exist, so I don't know the money.
But at the time as well, also, like I said before, I was 15, Robbie was 16.
I was
I
I was
think you were a little bit
17,
older,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
17.
I was 18. I've always been the older
So
one.
at that
Oh,
age
right.
and dealing with being in the public eye,
Yeah.
was like really, really hard, because we've been never ever been used to, everywhere I went going, oh look, here's the film star, but it wasn't like, oh look, here's the film star. It'd be like, oh look, here's the film star, like with a bit of a,
Sarcasm.
not sarcasm, like nastiness,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
like a jealousy thing.
Yeah, of
you know?
course. Yeah, that's what
Like,
it'd be.
why are you doing this and we're not doing that? And also, I was still at school, and all my friends were like my friends that I got on with and stuff. It was all great, and I didn't get on with the teachers. Teachers hated me. The minute I got Brookside, all my friends weren't my mate anymore, because all the teachers were trying to be my mate, and they were thinking that I'm like teacher's pet. So they all thought that. So I left school at 15. I had to leave. It was the pressure was too much.
Well, what happened to me was funny enough was I got asked to leave sixth form because I wasn't attending the classes. So I'm straight away. I'm expecting. I'm either going to go on a course. I'm going to do something. The next minute, like a couple of months go by before I could put my claim in, and next minute, Brookside happens, and I'm going, oh great, and then Jill Lyon, lovely woman who was in charge of wardrobe, she comes up, she measured me and goes, I went, what we getting measured for? She went, your school unit, my what? He went, you're 14. I went, oh, I've only just left school and now I'm 18 and I'm still wearing a school uniform.
Yeah, same for me, yeah. It was, yeah. Because, yeah, we were all playing 14-year-olds, weren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Simon, did you miss the haircut?
Oh, God.
Your fringe has been getting on my nerves.
It's all in at the moment. No,
Well,
that again.
it was the flick at first.
Still got it.
Early doors, it was the flick, and then it went to the full mullet. I was in I was filming away recently, and I was in some like a trendy little gastro pub, and the guy behind the bar, this like 18-year-old, 19-year-old lad, had a mullet, and I just found an old photo and said, mate, that's not a mullet. That's a mullet. Till it's over your shoulders and still above your ears. That's not a mullet, my friend.
Just think though, Simon, you were like a fashion icon if you think about it.
Trendsetter.
Because in Liverpool, everyone has like a dress code. Through the years, like I always remember like different styles and stuff. The girls used to always wear like kilts. They'd all have sovereigns on. They'd all have two plaits tied up there with like a fringe and an Aaron Cardi and the tights and the collared shoes. And then you'd have like your feeler top on, your chunky cords.
Do you remember the hot pants though you had on?
They were supposed to be called denim shorts, but they were more like a belt.
The fan mail you got after that.
Yeah, and now that we've got bigger tellies.
Yeah, don't.
The first scene where we see you all running out of the Collins's house, I just want to ask you, what were your memories of that? What memories of that scene, and also working with the Collinses? Were they anything like their characters, the actors themselves?
No.
Jim was. Doreen was really lovely, delightful. She was so lovely, so lovely.
Yeah. Jim was an ex-head teacher, wasn't he?
Yeah,
and he had that demeanour.
Yeah.
He's either a head teacher or a teacher, but he really had that demeanour.
Karen Grant, Sheila O'Hara, who's just like disappears off the face of the earth. No one knows where she is. She's my very, very good friend.
Yeah.
You never
miss her dearly.
No,
she just took herself out of all the public eye. She doesn't want nothing to do with that. Last thing I heard is that she was dealing in antiques.
Yeah, that's what's going around,
But like, if I could find her, I really, really need to find this girl, because we were like that. And I always remember me and Sheila, we just sit in the canteen and just like bitch everyone. You know what I mean? And we'd wind Paul Collins up, Jim Wiggins, because he was so like authoritarian. But as I say, we're 15, so we're very, very sort of like a 15-year-old, but like we just wind him up.
Yeah. Just cheeky. But that wasn't actually our first day's filming, if I remember right. Our first day's filming was in a building site.
With
the three girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what I sent you this morning.
I think it was in the first episode.
Yes,
we didn't film it in order. We were, and on the same day, I was just making myself laugh on the way here tonight when I knew I was going to sit today when I knew I was going to see the guys. We walked along the road by Croxteth Park, at a scene, and then we're pretending we're bunkering into this building site, and we just jump over this sandstone wall. Yeah. So we rehearse it a couple.
Get over it.
But we rehearse it a couple of times, right? And well, Ducksie's challenging. It's about 4 foot high, though, wasn't it? But what we didn't know as well is, as we rehearsed, we got to a point we jumped over the wall. But then when we started filming, when you're actually doing the take, your rhythm changes. And so we walked at a different pace. So we get to this wall and jumps over, and it's about 15 foot on the other side. But all of us were too scared not to get it wrong. So one by one, we just disappear over this wall with a...
I think something's telling me not to get over that wall, because I could not climb over the wall.
Yeah.
Because I was on the big side, and everything was tight on me, you know what I mean? And the trousers that I had on, I think I even ripped them getting over, because they were like busting out of them. I couldn't lift my leg because my pants were that tight, and I just couldn't get over the wall. It just felt just felt
Well, everyone had to have
ashamed.
proper drainies then, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah.
the jeans were literally
Yeah.
spray on.
Mm-hmm.
They just had to be. And no stretch denim.
No.
Just, you just had to lie on the floor and shoehorn yourself into them.
Yeah.
Simon, I need to ask you this question. I believe you're an Evertonian.
Yeah.
You were playing a Liverpool fan
Mhm.
with rods, and how did you feel about that?
Yeah. Well,
I can see it in his eyes already, the rage building.
it's actually what you know what ended up with me leaving. Basically, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I got migraines putting the hat on. I got rashes with the scarves. You know, it was a medical condition.
You had to
Because
hang out the window
Yeah.
and
Oh
Yeah.
the
man,
flag.
the stick I got for that. And also, of course, you know, Rod, Jason Hope. Well, he was an avid red.
Yeah.
So they just, I think the writers just did it just to wind us
Wind
up.
us up.
Yeah.
Bit of comedic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just doing the scenes like that. Oh, but honestly, the stick I got in the pub and at the match, like kind of, I don't think I've ever lived that down really. So I always claim that that's why I actually packed it in the end, because I just couldn't be a Liverpool fan any longer.
What were your memories of working with Heather and Roger? Because obviously they were like the flexies, the upper class.
But funnily enough, they're very professional actors. But having said that, Rob Spenlove, who played Roger, was an absolute corpse. He was a really, really funny, and if you got him, you just couldn't start again. He'd just giggle his way through the day once you got him on your side, and once you started messing with the words and that kind of stuff. But they were really professional, weren't they?
Very.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Didn't you particularly like Simon and a scene where you were with Rob? And it was just like you were saying, Brookside Teenagers. It was just it was a nothing scene. You were arguing with him over fixing a window,
That was it.
and you just couldn't do it.
No, that literally took us about 3 hours. And the director's going nuts. The crew are going nuts because, as we were saying just before we started,
Time's money.
there was a sign up saying "Time is money," and that was the mantra. Because don't forget, Brookside was filmed single camera. No soap is
Yes.
filmed single camera.
Yeah.
Because we were in real houses, we weren't on set, so you can't just shift the wall out and bring another camera in. So every scene, you had to do at least 4 or 5 takes, and still turn it out on time. So we were literally, I think at the time we were recording more drama per day than anyone else in the country, because we had to.
Yeah, and you did have to be spot on, because it'd be Simon's shot, then be Tracy's shot, then my shot, and we had to make sure for editing purposes it was always said the same way. It was like you couldn't say, "Oh, well, I'll say it a different way than this," and it had to be, because the editing had to be.
It was
really
a learning
tight.
curve as well,
Yeah.
because it was the first time really where we'd have a soap where there'd be running water, and if you were doing the scene, you'd have to do it for real, because, you know, like for instance, Sue Johnson, if she's like doing a scene or whatever, I used to think to myself, God, the way she can do that, it's brilliant. The way she can iron and do the lines as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we don't think about that. People don't think about the, you know, it's not just the lines. It's
course,
also,
it's everything.
but because the tops are real, and you know the toaster was real and all that one, so it was it was just like never been done before, had it?
I mean,
the first.
I mean,
And the swearing as well.
I was just about to say about that. I mean,
The swearing in the first 6 months, and everyone went nuts, going like, "Oh no, it's terrible! It's giving Liverpool a bad name."
no,
Okay.
no.
It's
It was
language.
realistic. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
maybe was that because people weren't ready for a TV show to come on that portrayed things as they were.
Yeah.
These 3 lads were talking the way that
Yeah.
regular 3 lads were.
But-
There was,
as for the swearing, what we were saying was tame.
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
you watch the Responder Sunday night. We would never have got away with half the language that they say on it.
but do you think it was a
Yeah.
thing of its time? What
Oh.
what was acceptable back in '82 as opposed to what's acceptable
Well,
now?
I remember Simon's telling me, and I had the same experience. People used to come up to us and effing blind to tell us how bad we were, that we were bringing bad language into their house. How dare you effing this and effing that in front of my children? I'm going, you've just said more in that 2 minutes than we've ever said on TV.
I literally sat on the bus behind 2 girls, and one of them was saying to me, "Have you seen that fucking Brookside? The fucking language, it's a fucking disgrace. I'm taken off there. It was just nuts." And I'm like, but there's something in there. I don't think it was that the world wasn't ready for it. I just think the people, even though they say I want everything to be gritty and realistic, they don't really. You want to be kind of feel comfortable in your own living room at the same time. You've got to be prepared for what's coming. If you're going to watch a horror film, okay, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
And if you're going to watch a soap opera, it shouldn't be that gritty. It took people a while to get used to. But you know, I was very proud of the fact that we actually got mentioned in Parliament.
Yeah, that was great.
Did we? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
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 The characters playing Damon, Ducksie, and Gizmo. Point of order.
Margaret Thatcher.
It would be great if Hatchie doesn't like us. That would be made up because I was quite the red.
But the
back then.
difference now as well is that because everything's all PC,
Yeah.
and so I imagine it's a nightmare for script writers these days, or directors, or anyone that's in the game, because they have to go through all these boundaries and things that have to be put into place, like rules and regulation. So there's no freedom, and so if someone was to call someone something, they'd have to have a meeting about it to see whether it was all right, whether people were going to get upset and stuff. So and soap opera for me, because since I was in it at 15, I've still studied. I still watch like all the soaps, because I think one day I'll end up in a soap again. I really do think that I can see myself behind the bar in the Rovers. I really can, or in EastEnders.
I think Rob wanted to be a Scouse Dingle in Emmerdale, didn't you?
I've always wanted to be the Scouse Dingle that no one knew about.
Yeah.
But because of Emmerdale, they usually have some religious name, so I'd be Jebediah or something. But what I do recall at the time, and it was of the time as well, because there was a brilliant scene where Karen's attacked by demons Wayne in the
I
flats.
was watching that this morning.
And because of the language of that, there were certain things he was saying to her that he wanted to do. But what we had to do, because it was 5 o'clock, so it was shown, I think it was shown on a Tuesday, but there's no way that could have been shown at 5 o'clock on a...
It was a really gritty scene.
Everything had to be PC for the 5 o'clock omnibus,
But
instead of putting it on later.
I think the best ever scene out of all the Brookside, and there's loads of them, so many. But one of my favourite, one that sticks in my head always, is one of Frank Clark's episodes, and it's about where Karen Grant's like that. So what's God then 20 pence in edges? Because she's got caught smoking or something.
Yeah, that was great.
And there's like an Our Lady on the lighter,
Exactly.
from Lourdes, because that was a big storyline with Sheila Grant, all the Catholic thing, which is a very Liverpool thing.
Yeah.
So they touched on that. But also talking about soap as well, we were saying about how soap is. Now soap, what I love about soap is that you can go anywhere with it.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's not real. And when you realise that, like my mother was going to me, I don't understand what's happened in Emmerdale there. Why did she do this? I'm going, do you know what it is, Mum? You're not meant to know. Because when you're meant to know, you will know. So they keep you guessing. They've always got a little cliffhanger. But I've just been watching The New Dynasty. It's absolutely just mental. Alexis gets pushed in the fire by her son, gets her face burned, and comes back as a new Alexis.
Yeah, new and improved.
Stephen goes missing, the gay son, and he comes back as the butler, and then he unzips this face off and becomes Stephen again. You know,
So perhaps Damon's not dead after all.
no, it's not.
No,
This is what I
No,
mean.
you came
about
back,
soap,
didn't you, for the film, didn't you?
I came back for
Yeah.
what do they got, like spin-off thing?
Settling,
Yeah.
settling up.
But how come that never got shown?
I don't know what happened to that. And someone found a clip of that the other day. I think it's
The trailer.
Yeah, the trailer,
The trailer for it, Settling Up,
Yeah.
is on the
You come
Unfinished
back
Business
as the ghost,
DVD.
didn't you?
Yeah. I'm dressed all in white tracking,
Yeah.
which is the Scouse Ghost.
Let's have the latest on.
Yeah, it never got
I
shown.
think they were going for a bit of Randall and Hopkirk.
Yes.
Well, there was a couple of spin-offs as well. There was the other one, South, wasn't he, with Justine Kerrigan
Tracy, yeah.
and Sean McKay, God
Yeah,
rest his
the
soul.
soul, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't find that anywhere, but I'd love to see that again.
Yeah, because there was one episode where they actually meet Morrissey.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Was there anything in the script that either, because obviously with you playing these characters, you are obviously not the characters, but you feel that you understand how the characters are and stuff like that. So my question is, was there anything that you read in the script that you thought, no, I don't think my character would do that?
Yeah, a few times. I was
A few
terrible.
times. I think usually when you read it, you thought about the words, and no, I mean no one ever wrote "la," but I was half expecting it one day from, uh, let's say, a Wally writer who doesn't actually come from Liverpool, and so occasionally we would say, because we did have a lot of directors from down south. We'd go, listen, we wouldn't say that. I want to change this, and you go, well, it's in the script. We go, yeah, but no one has said that for a long time.
But I also found it.
Yeah.
I also found it was a very inclusive thing.
Mm.
Anyone could chip in, couldn't they? If you said, if you go, oh no, I don't think I go that direction. I go over here. And the scriptwriter would go, oh, okay, I'll change that tomorrow. That was there was no preciousness about what anyone did. That's why it worked really to start.
More of a Liverpool thing though, I think, because a lot of the crew and stuff weren't from Liverpool, and also there's a couple of writers that weren't from Liverpool as well. So when they're writing stuff, it didn't really have that Liverpool flavour about it.
Yeah.
And so we're playing Scallies, you know what I mean? And go, no, Scally wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Scally wouldn't say that. And so you'd say, can you change this to this? And they go, yeah, it's fine. But it was usually pretty good.
I mean, I remember one time, and it was we had an episode. It was me, Simon, and Nigel in Alan's bungalow, and we weren't too happy with the script, and we said, well, can we improvise? And we were doing stuff like I made something awful with pasta and blackcurrant juice.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He actually threw me into the boat full of water, and I said, I think I said the T word, but we kept it in. I wasn't expecting. He said, look over there, and I think didn't it? Suddenly I'm lifted up. And then I spend the rest of the episode, because it's filmed as a sequence. Suddenly Jill stands up, he goes, here's your towel. What for? You're soaking. You've just put your trousers in the dryer. I'm going, right, so I'm like this for the rest of the episode.
Is that the same with the Terrible Twins?
Oh,
those two twins when they're pushing the boat and
Marie Jackson's boys, Gary and Little George.
Whatever happened to them?
Oh, they'll be about 40, you know.
I think they'll be 50 actually.
Yeah, it's all right, leave it. It's not working out how old I am.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, their dad was Charlie Patterson, who was the carpenter for worked in the art department, so they were his kids. We got on great with them. We used to play well, we weren't supposed to, but occasionally we'd get told off for play football on the sets, because sometimes
constantly
because we had him, we always they always had nightmares, because once you start playing football, you don't suddenly say, oh, we've got to be careful, this is a set. We go, no, we're playing football. So one of us had put the winter to. I don't think Redmond would have been too pleased.
I think you already traumatised those two kids when you said that you were going to put beloved Cindy the dog
on
the bonfire.
On the bonfire.
Terrible stuff. You weren't really going to do that, were you?
I would.
Yeah.
See a dog go woof. Sorry.
Hot dog.
Simon, in Brookside the Teenagers, you said that you had decided, you went to Phil Redmond and you said, please kill Damon. That's how you felt back then. If you could have that time again now, say, would you still make the decision to kill Damon, or would you?
Yeah, would you?
You still stand by
definitely.
that?
Just because I realised, because as I said as we started talking, that it kind of I knew nothing about this industry. And then I realised I'd fallen into a world that could take you places and get you to meet people you wouldn't normally get the chance to do. And there I was doing more or less a 9 to 5 where I'd grown up. So I'd watched other people leave, some of the other main cast, they'd leave. And then because typecasting was still a thing then, it doesn't seem to exist anymore, because typecasting was still a big thing then, you'd struggle to get work for a while. Right. And then you get your big tax bill until they come back and do an extra 20 episodes. So you're always kind of getting pulled back in. And so I thought, well, that will happen to me. So I thought the only way to push myself forward is to burn the bridges. Yeah. So that's when I went that way with Phil, and because the soap bubble, as it was called, with Gilly Keeney,
Damon and Debbie, the spin-off.
That was already going to be filmed. The first 2 episodes were written, and all he did was change the end of the last episode and then dovetailed it back into Brookside. Yeah. And so the answer is no, because since then, I've had a kind of a fantastic life in media, and so so no regret at all. No.
Are you still in touch with Gillian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, see Julie all the time. Yeah, she lives in Portsmouth. Absolutely. Yeah. She's got a kid exactly the same age as my daughter. So, so when they were little, we used to see each other in Calderstones Park all the time and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I see it quite often.
Yeah, but it led to a bizarre moment because he came back and we had Damon coughing in the grants.
I've heard this.
And unbeknown to us, we go on a break and we're doing this. We're doing a scene around the coffin. He's in the coffin and looking back at the dummy. I had come in with a piece of paper with a poem on and going, "I'm so sorry, put it down." And in between the takes, I'm looking down and go, "Bloody hell, you haven't half changed to this life-saving dummy." And next, we come back from the break. Next minute, suddenly I'm going, "What's going on?" And suddenly,
I'm all right. You have to peel about 15 people up the ceiling. Got him.
I thought Ricky Tomo was going to die with a half. It was so funny. Yeah.
I still got the black off the coffin. That was me leaving present.
Yeah. But that was so bizarre because I was going. I remember that Christmas when it got shown. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and he said, and I knew it was coming up. But before then, we'd had a really funny moment because when he popped out, and we got chatting for a little bit, and I said, "How did it go?" And he went, "Well," I said, "Well, your dad scene." He goes, "We haven't filmed it yet." It was totally out of sequence, so we're already burying him, but he hasn't
Still
been.
alive, yeah.
He's still alive.
Still alive in York.
Yeah. And
Was the funeral filmed behind one of the houses?
no.
Because that's what was mentioned in the
No,
backstage
we
tour.
were
It's
actually
strange
taken
that
to
they-
a church.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
Springwood, wasn't it?
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You were in the
You
box.
were in the box.
Springwood.
Yeah, but it was so funny because, although it was a bit somber, because it was hard for me because we filmed Damon's funeral a couple of weeks after my own dad's funeral. So I wasn't as
Bit raw.
but there was one thing that made me laugh is the guy who's playing the priest, his pacing was off as we entered the church, and they're carrying the coffin. His pacing is a bit slower than it should be, and he gets hit in the back of the head by the coffin. And he said some words that they're not supposed to say in church.
No.
So we had
Not
to
very godly.
retake that, and as that's happening, I'm going, I shouldn't be laughing in church at a funeral,
Yeah.
but it was. And then, but the other thing, I mean, one thing I thought that was great is suddenly Debbie has the baby, and the baby gets called
Simon, yeah. That was a lovely touch.
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
When like the funeral scene went out and that kind of stuff, this is the strange mix. Tracy knows she studies the soaps. That people left wreaths on my parents' doorstep.
Oh.
On my loads of them.
Because it was that well written, that well acted,
No,
that
because-
people believed it.
No, because the blur between reality and fiction
Yeah.
in soaps
Yeah.
Yes.
is so big that you just people literally couldn't work out whether I had died as well as the character dying. So literally, like the day after it went out, we went to our front door and there's all wreaths on the front door saying, "Oh," and people are saying to me, "Mum, you're a real mum in the street." I'm ever so sorry. I'm ever so sorry. She says, "So am I." He's not making as much money now.
But I think the thing that was weird, because I remember when my girlfriend at the time, Sarah, she was watching Damon and Debbie, I was watching it too, and then come the scene where I'm watching it, and it was out of body, because I'm like watching it going, "Oh, I'm getting upset myself," and I know he's an actor, but it's seeing your mate stabbed. I'm going, this feels so strange.
You see how much Damon was loved though, because all them
Totally.
reefs getting put in your mum's door and stuff. So they really did, like, he was, like I said before, he was a heartthrob, Simon.
Yeah.
And
Debbie's.
if Tracy would have been around, I don't think I would have been your mate. I think you might have been the new Debbie.
No, that would have been quite the twist.
That'll be all right, bye.
But you know, if they were to bring it back round again, our own stories of like where we've come from and like where we are now is another story in itself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But the thing that's funny about it is, and I appreciate that people that love what they do, but there was a couple of years back, I'd just done my first Irish play.
Yeah.
And I was proud of myself because one woman had come up to me and asked me which part of Ireland I'm from, and it was great. And then I said, I'm not Irish, I just did the accent. She said, oh, you did it great. And then I'm walking further on, and this girl goes, oh, I thought you were great. I went, thank you. I said, what was your favourite scene? She said, that scene where you and Damon are on the roller skates. I went,
Oh yeah, I
"Hang on."
remember that.
I said, when we're in that Irish play with the roller skates? And she went, no, 20 years ago. I went, no, but you've just watched the play in the last 2 hours. I'm more interested in what you thought about the play rather than what it is.
There was at one point where I thought I was on the up though, because I got a mother in it, and like I think if you're in a soap and they bring your mother into it, you're more likely to be part of a family then, because we were subsidiary characters is what we were called.
Yeah.
But if like say like you've got a mum and a dad and and then they bring other people in, then you've got more chance of sort of staying in there.
Yeah.
And they brought this woman in to play my mother, and we'd done a scene down by St John's Market when they used to have all the bubbles. And
The bubble bus
it was
stuff.
called the Temporary Market.
Yeah.
And this woman, she wasn't even Scottish, terrible, but she never got invited back.
But then again, talking about casting, there was a scene where I got beat up by my brother, and I walked.
Did you see your brother?
I did actually walk. I walked in one day and I saw a stranger in the canteen, and I walked up and I went, I went, what's your name? Oh, my name's Keith. I went, oh, right. And I went, sound crew? Well, he goes, no, I'm an actor. I go, oh, right. I went, hang on, you're not playing my brother. He goes, oh, aye, you Gizmo. And then next to me, he goes, I'm going to kill you, Gizmo. I'm going, hang on, Gizmo's lived in Liverpool all his life. What part of his family is from Yorkshire? I was really peed off because I thought,
You're a strange brother.
yeah, at least give a scout actor the job.
There's nothing worse though, in my opinion, is when there's so much talent in Liverpool, and then there's so much good work getting done and whatever, and then the director will go and give it to somebody from Manchester or even Ireland, and they're doing a Scouse accent, and it's not 10%.
And it breaks the illusion.
The one that was in that was responded. The responder, he was good. Was it Martin? What's his name?
Freeman. Yeah.
He's on a great Scouse accent for a non-Scouser. I was like, wow, I was well impressed.
Yeah. So
But
did
it's
the
sad
police
that they
woman.
don't give Liverpool people more work, because there's so much talent in the city, and there's loads of good stuff coming out of Liverpool now. Like I don't know whether you've seen the
Gathering.
The Gathering.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
What's the other one? Go ahead. Yeah.
And go ahead, funny.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Simon, a major storyline for the grants was Sheila's rape. So a two-part question. At the time, there was lots of different suspects. Pat Hancock, Looney Dinsdale, as you called him. He was Alan Jones and beloved Uncle Matty. So do you remember at the time, because it was a while before they actually announced who actually did it, do you remember people like talking on the set thinking, I think it was this person, I think it was that person?
Good question. I think, yeah, because they did keep all that stuff secret because they had to. Because you get people finding scripts lying around and then it being the echo. I don't know. I don't think we guessed. So, but what we do all know is it's an unforgettable storyline.
Yeah,
and it showed Sue Johnson's talent at the height. It's just what an actress. Yeah.
What were your memories of working with her in those scenes?
Just in any scene. I always say I learned how to deal with the public off Ricky, and I learned how to act off Sue. Basically, all you had to do was watch both of them and how they bounced off each other, and then how they would deal with people out in public, and they were just constant professionals. And I think if they'd been different, then we could well have been a lot more wayward.
Yeah.
But they without bossing us at all, they just showed that you turned up on time, did stuff, knew it by heart, and pulled your tripe out basically. So.
Well, I got learned how to talk to people from Bill D.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Good luck with that.
Being 15 as well, Ricky did always keep us looked out for us and stuff like that. Because I always remember he'd come up to me stuff, and he'd say stuff like, make sure that you put a little bit of that away, you know, for your tax and all that. You've got to watch it, and also be careful, like when people see you out and about. Because someone said that they see me kissing another boy, outside the Royal Hospital one night. 15, we were out in nightclubs as well. I was up at like 7:15. We were just kids who had money to you know, just to do anything we wanted. Loads and loads of friends. Everyone wanted to be your mate. Then when the money dries up, you find out who all your real friends are. But I remember I must have been like in a gay club one night, and then we'd walked home, and maybe I was just like saying to someone and giving them a kiss, and then someone said that they'd seen me, and then it got back to Ricky, and Ricky was saying like, you know, you've got to be careful, you know, and all that. You didn't think about these things.
No.
You know, so Ricky was always like solid, and he's still solid to this day. He still does loads of work for the Florrie as well.
Yeah.
But Ricky gave you a pretty hard smack in episode 1, didn't he?
It's really pretty hard smack. Countless pretty hard smacks.
Yeah.
I think it's called method acting.
Yeah.
But it's called assault.
Yeah.
How many takes did you end up doing in that?
Yeah,
But
well,
with
I-
a slight concussion.
Exactly. I'm sure Paul Usher and that would get, and Sheila would get it wrong, so he'd have to do it again. Just like, there we go again. Oh, honest to God, yeah.
But
Remember a Gizmo pushing Ducksie off the chair, and Ducksie got the blame, didn't he?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
the blame. But
Yeah,
that's what I was saying before, is that the writers sort of like, with Ducksie and Gizmo, they were always at each other. You know what I mean? He was like the sort of like one between, like
Peacemaker,
trying to
yeah.
calm it down. Because we were both after him, like to be his best mate. No, I'm his best mate. No, you're not. I'm his best mate. All that was going on. You know what I mean? But also the writers made it even more. So being a little bit of a method actor myself, I was a bit like sort of like, I had to sort of hate, not Robbie, but Gizmo. So my acting thing was just like, oh, I can't stand you. You know what I mean? It's just, so that was it. So they were feeding that to us. But I was saying to Robbie, I was saying, you know, back then, it's like, when it was Mark, it was like, I hated you. I hated you. Because I had to, because I thought that's what the part was. But now that I'm Tracy, and I love the bones of him, he's like my best mate. It's like, it's totally different.
Yeah, it's
story.
took
Yeah.
about 40 years. I'm a slow build. Eventually, people like me. I mean, I've been with Heather for 10 years, and the other week she said she liked me.
And it's lovely.
Oh, I'm getting it.
I like that.
Yeah.
We can build on that.
20 years time, she might actually say she loves me.
Do you have another
So,
question?
yeah. So what's your most memorable behind the scenes, behind the cameras story? What can you remember behind the cameras, behind the scenes?
I remember I caused chaos one time. I didn't even mean to.
One time?
Well, but proper chaos. Yeah, because like up in one of the houses at the end, the terrace at the end, was the edit suite. And you know, because we were just young and interested in all this kind of stuff, if you had a couple of hours, I'd just wander up, you know, and just have a look what was going on there, all the live feeds would be there. And someone showed me that you could make a little different coloured square with a joystick and just move it round on the pictures. You know, like this is, and don't forget, in 1983, this is super advanced stuff. You know, we're still playing tennis with the two things. And so I was just sitting there, and they turned away to do something else, and I thought, oh yeah, and you know the test card with all the stripes, I just got the pink oblong and put it next to the pink one that was there over the green one. And then I got distracted and started talking. And then next thing, the guy who's in charge of all the technical stuff, Colin McEwen of LA Productions, comes in and goes, "What? The colour bar's wrong? what's wrong with the colour bar? And I'm not even interested. I've gone. And they stripped the whole edit suite down before one of the guys remembered that he'd been teaching me. And he went, hang on a minute. I moved the joystick. And it was so there's literally like tens of thousands of pounds worth of wasted time and people's and equipment and that kind of stuff because he's taught me how to do a little thing with a pink oblong.
Did you ever wish that? I mean, Damon was always lovely and everybody loved him. Very much of a stark contrast to his brother Barry.
Yeah.
Did you ever wish that you could have been a bit bad at times, a bit more like Barry, or you liked the fact
Absolutely
that
not.
Damon was Damon?
Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Because Liverpool's a very hard place at that time, and Paul Usher, he literally had to watch his back all the time because there was always some idiot saying, "Oh, Barry, you think you're hard, do you?
Yeah.
Come out then.
Yeah.
Come on then. I'll have it. I'll have you. Think you're all that on telly."
Yeah.
And so no, I was not jealous of that at all. I quite like I'd rather just
Happy go lucky.
exactly. I'd rather the same scally just walk past him and went, you little dickhead. That's fine. That means I can go out peacefully. So no, definitely not.
The YTS storyline. Obviously, it goes back to what Brookside was always best known for. It wasn't stuff that could never happen in a million years. It's hard hitting, but it's realistic. There were so many of these lads that were on these YTS schemes wanting to get a work, and that's what Damon wanted, didn't he? He didn't want to be on the dole. He worked hard, and he wanted something at the end of it. So, what were your memories of working that YTS storyline?
It was easy for me because literally every single one of my mates was on the dole. Well, I think there was about 3 of us that had jobs out of about 12 of us, and everyone else was on the dole, a whole generation. So it was completely easy for me to identify with. And also we got the chance, as Trace just said there, to share the love a bit as well, because we were doing all right. We used to do things. I used to suddenly say, if I didn't have a day, we'd just jump in the car and I'd say, let's go to Blackpool. And we'd call it Damon and the Dolly's Day Out. so me and my mates just go out for the day, because I had the car, I had the means, and they just literally had nothing to do. So it was very simple to identify with it because my mates were all going through. I showed my daughter. There was a really, really good, fantastic documentary that I think it was on BT Sport, and it's called Two Tribes. And there's a lot of footage. It's about when Liverpool and Everton were winning everything in the early 80s. But what it also did was show a lot of archive of Liverpool at the time. And I watched it with my daughter, who was then like 13, 14. And I kept stopping it and saying, "Where's that?" She go, "I don't know." What, like a war zone? No. No, that's the Albert Dock. Move forward. Where's that? And she just did not recognise our city. And that's the kind of that's what it was like. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's very
I mean, there's a great scene. There was a fantastic scene. If you had the money to be in the scene, even if you didn't actually, there was a brilliant scene in town. It was the Bunnyman and all that kind of. There's always something going on. Frankie and all that kind of stuff. But outside of that, Liverpool was just a mess. And so and there was just no employment. And that was the point of that storyline, just to say to people down south, this isn't funny, by the way.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
Yeah, we weren't stereotyped. It was when there was stuff happening in Brookside that was really happening to people, and we were a bit trying to be gritty. But the good thing about Brookie is that we were also able to help a few things because we were able to. I remember I did a couple of miners' benefit gigs. I remember we went to Walter Hay and we did a whole charity week at the Everyman Theatre to raise money for bone marrow.
And the Empire as well.
Yeah. And was this the one where you were dressed up as the ballerina?
Yep. Yeah. Both of us turned up and we were wearing the tutus, and I remember so funny because it's the weirdest thing anyone have said to me. Jill was backstage checking costumes were all right, and she said to me one night, she was paranoid about this tutu. She said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to the bathroom. I need to go." And she went, "Don't stand up." I went, "What do you mean don't stand up?" She said, sit down to do whatever. And I went, okay. And I went, she said, I don't want anything get on that suit.
Oh, right, thanks.
Well, you can take it home.
A backstage detail.
TMI.
Yeah.
There was, in fact, that was kind of, don't forget, because the politics was portrayed across the whole thing, wasn't it? And at the time of the miners' strikes, we were doing a lot of gigs, like as Robbie says, in benefit gigs and that kind of stuff. And they gave us like a plaque as thanks. I think it was the Sankey miners up St Helens Way in Clockface, and they gave us this plaque as a thanks, and we put it up in the canteen. And Doreen Sloan and Collins would walk in and turn it round, because of course Doreen was a dyed-in-the-wool blue. You know, she was lovely, but she was
Beautiful lady.
absolutely against their politics, and she didn't think it right that we should put it in a neutral place. So literally, and then we turn it round again, and then she'd come in and turn it round again, and so it went. You know, but
Yeah.
we all got on great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember there was one time I came home late one night and my mum said, "Oh, here's baffled message." She said, "Phone Roger Hill," and I went, "Right," and she said, "Paul wants you to do something." I went, "Paul who?" And sitting there and said to me that, "What's my mum talking about?" She said, "Oh, phone Roger Hill." Phone Roger Hill, and he said, "Oh, Paul Weller wants you to do something with the Style Council in the Manford Hall," and I was like, "Wow," and it was great. And then got on the mic that night and denounced McGregor, and then next week the Record Mirror comes out and he's got, whoever the journalist said, "Nice peaceful musical evening, apart from the denouncement of McGregor by this guy from Brookside." I'm thinking, I'm the only one that was political that night. but it was a miners' benefit gig, and that was a great gig. It was.
Yeah.
What was your memories of the scenes in Torquay?
Well, I was with
Harry, Ralph,
Bill
Julia,
Yeah.
Madge.
It was
Evil
hilarious.
Madge.
That's just been shown on it. STV.
Yeah, it was just nuts. But again,
That cafe is still there.
but also again, completely reminiscent of the times. You know, there was just no work here.
Yeah, yeah.
So every load of Scousers were just. So when we were filming down in Torquay, every person working in every hotel and every restaurant was a Scouser, because that's where you went for work. You know, for seasonal work, because you get some money from somewhere. So it was completely relevant storyline, but it was completely nuts being away with like those three other characters and me. It's just utterly bizarre. But great, you know. That's exactly what I was saying before. You know, how would I get to know people like them if it wasn't for this industry? You know, just fantastic creative people, and get paid to go around in Torquay for a bit.
Yeah. But what was happening in Liverpool at the time, because I remember the three of us and three girls at Liverpool we had the Garden Festival, which was brilliant, but it was such a contrast. Everyone was going, "Oh, Liverpool's great again," and we got the Garden Festival. You go, "Yeah, well, that's one part of Liverpool. The rest of the people are struggling." And then you looked at the prices to get into the Garden Festival. I mean, I got in there twice, but once for filming and once for doing a bit Yard of Ale contest with Ricky Samo. But it was totally different. It was like the Derek Hatton period. He was sort of, "Oh, Liverpool's all this good," and we're going, "It is for you, but you know, not for everyone."
And look at it now, how gorgeous it is.
Yeah.
You know, compared to then, all the buildings and stuff down by the Three Graces and all around there. You know, they've still got to take care of speaking places like that at Kensington. But like it's a completely different world now. If people are looking at Liverpool, I think the Eurovision sort of done that, brought everyone out for that, and it was like they done a really good show. Yeah. They had the Queen Anne in the other day, and they put on a good show for that as well. So they've got
Andrew
up there for
Bocelli.
putting shows on our Liverpool.
Yeah.
Do you have another question, Lou?
Have you been rewatching yourself on STV? Have you been putting it on every Wednesday?
Not every time, no. Just every now and again I dip in and say, "Where are we up to now?" And I go, "Oh God, I've forgotten about that."
Yeah.
And I watched the very first one, of course, when they first started streaming it. I get with my wife and daughter. And after about 10 minutes, my daughter, she was looking at the screen. She was looking at me. She was looking at the screen. And I said, "What?" She said, "Two things." "What?" She said, "That can't be you. And you're a rubbish actor."
Oh.
Yeah, she's 16.
Yeah.
We politely disagree.
But it is weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I remember meeting your daughter. She must have
It's
been
weird,
about
a bit
5
weird.
when you...
It's a little bit weird
Yeah.
for me because I only have memories of Mark now. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to talk about him. I never used to be. I used to be scared away from it, going, no, I don't want anyone to know that I was this and that was that. I've got a story to tell now. And because I can be me and who I am to all my family and they all know who I am, then I have no problem with it anymore. And I look at it as a little fond memory. At the time, I hated it because I was a fat 15-year-old spotty schoolboy. And I hated it because I hated being recognised for it. But then now, it's like, I wish I would have been who I was then. I might have had a longer life in my acting career. Even though I haven't really stopped, I've always carried on and maintained to do acting and stuff, make little short films and stuff, teach drama. I went through Clubland, because when I left there, I was in Clubland and I DJ'd for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I was in Clubland. So everything, drugs, alcohol, everything, being there, all the t-shirts. I've been in recovery now since 2014. In 2014, I started teaching drama in a recovery centre because the teacher was off one day and he said to me, will you cover it for me because you've got experience? So I did. And so to this day, it's like 10 years now I've been teaching drama to people in recovery. And it's great because with drama, you can express and you can leave yourself at the door. Robbie's even been to a couple of my classes now.
Yeah, but I was doing the same because I found, when I left, it was
Best thing for your confidence.
it was good at the
Break down
time.
inhibitions.
It was good at the time because, but I did find the more I didn't get snobby about doing Liverpool stuff, but now that I'm doing character acting more than anything, I feel that when someone said, "Oh, there's a Scouse partner," I usually say, without being too snobby, I say, "Can I change that to somewhere else?" And I can do the accents. I mean, I did the Ragged Trousers last year. You spoke
Yeah, we
out
both
say I did 4 different accents in one night, which is a tough gig. But I've always said to people, "Can I change it?" And he went, "Well, you're from Liverpool." I said, "Yeah, but I'm an actor from Liverpool. I'm not a Liverpool actor. Don't pigeonhole me to..." A lot of people can do it. They can spend years being the Liverpool act, but I don't want to be that.
If you would have moved to London and made it as an actor down there, then you'd be famous because I think you've got to live in London sometimes to get taken.
Certainly did then.
Yeah.
You know.
No question. Yeah.
And also, be in Spotlight and do all those things where you'd have to pay like, £1,000 for full page and all that. And really put your money into it. The competition now is fierce. You've got to really, really, really want it. But I find that anyone that's moved from Liverpool to London has been very, very, very successful.
Yeah.
Don't know why that is.
Because you just got to be there. You've just got to be in the room when they're talking about the next project, that kind of stuff. I would never move away from here. But that said, you've got to accept that that's a compromise. That's a compromise in your potential for your career.
If that's what you want.
Yeah.
As a career.
But I find I'm happy that I stayed. I'm happy that I stayed in Liverpool, but I'm also happy that occasionally I like. But if you'd have told me in 1982, 83 that I'd be doing 3 Shakespearean roles, I'd go, well, I didn't expect that. But when I did Albany in King Lear, I did Capulet, and I did Midsummer Night's Dream. I was like, when I was doing Albany, it was like great. I loved it. I've only got one complaint about doing Shakespeare. Every other writer I've done a play for has bought me a drink after the show. Shakespeare still hasn't bought me one.
No, not one, Bevy. No,
no, typical. I mean, even Redmond used to buy us a drink occasionally.
I'd have to give up acting if that was the case.
Was there any actor across the whole cast? Was there any actor that you would say were very like the character?
Not really. I think there was such a concept. I mean, the thing that used to...
Jim Wiggins was.
Jim,
definitely.
Yeah, but the one thing that he used to always get flack, and whenever we were drinking in a sefton, is Nigel Crowley. who played Gordon Collins.
There's
We'd
Gordon.
occasionally have a slight tipple in the setting at dinner time when we weren't supposed to. And I'd be sitting there and someone would walk in and he'd look at us and go, "What are you doing with him?" And go, "I'm having a pint." "But he's not, you don't like him." I went, "Well, I do like him
Because
because
that's
he's an
how,
actor,
that's
he's
how
my
well it was
actor
put across.
friend."
That
Yeah.
people were believing
Yeah.
that the fact of that, oh, well,
Yeah.
these two
And then,
hate each other.
then I'm going to tell Damon. I went, "We tell him all you like because he doesn't exist either."
The first Lucy was really lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
She
was
was God
great.
dressed herself.
Yeah.
She died early. It was like 30 or something. She died, and the character that she was playing was probably 15 years younger than what she was in real life.
Right.
But such a lovely soul. I
Yeah.
even went down to London one weekend to see Katrina because I loved her that much as a friend. You know, I used to get a little bit clingy with certain people, but Katrina was lovely.
And Dick and Ashworth was one of the
Spoke to
funniest
us.
guys I've ever worked with, because there was times he wasn't having parties. You'd be out drinking with him, we'd have a good time, and there was one time he was surprised at me because we were at a party and one of the sets, and I come in one day and he'd made the punch. He'd made this punch, and I was like, "He's gone here, I'll have a glass of that." I took a sip and went, "This is good." And next minute I'm going, "Right.
What day is it?
Where's the pint glasses?" So I found the pint glass, and I've got this whole punch, and he's going, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm having a pint of this." He goes, "No one drinks my punch in pints." And I do. 2 days later I came round.
Right, that is then.
Yeah.
Well-
Listen, guys, it's just been such a pleasure. Thank you for
thank
having us
you.
in.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you
it's
for
been
coming.
lovely, you know, it's been
Yeah.
nice.
It's been brilliant.
Never in a million years did us
Wait till we put
two
this on
fans
social
think,
media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think that we'd have the honour of being in front
Yeah,
of you.
thanks for
Thank
coming.
you so
No,
much.
it's
All
absolute
three,
pleasure.
yeah.
It really
It's
was.
been a really absolute pleasure. It's just lovely to see our Simon.
Yeah.
I see him all the time
Yeah.
now because he
Yeah.
comes to drama, but just lovely to see you, Simon.
Yeah.
They're absolutely
I didn't
gorgeous.
even know that you had a daughter. How
Yeah.
old's your daughter?
She's 16.
16?
Yeah, Rosa. Yeah. So 2 years ago I was a hero, and now I'm just an idiot.
What does she want to do? She
She wants to be a marine biologist of all things.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, so she'll probably end up. So she'll probably end up being an actress.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's it. Because
Tell her to avoid
one thing I found
auditions.
about you when we were young was that you were very brainy. You know, you did have a brain. Clever.
Oh, I remember the time that the teacher followed you around because you had to do your exam a day early.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And she was following everywhere you went. I was going, "Who's this woman that follows you?" "Well, I've done my exam and the others are doing it later on this morning." Everywhere you went, it was like, done. Yeah.
And I never went back to academia. There you go. Thank you very much.
Academia.
Okay.
Oh, thanks very
Are
much.
we done yet?
Yeah.
I think Kieron just wants to talk about how he was when he was an
Very,
extra.
very, very, very,
Yeah,
very
go
briefly. Being a fan for so long, never did I ever think that I'd get to be a part of it. It was only in a small way, but a part of it all the same. And by the time that I was going and doing it, we were talking about 98 through to 2001. So it wasn't on Brookside Close, it was on the other set that came on later on. I just remember it in Campus Manor, going through the the archway, and then it was all like a woodland and a road, and then walking down and then seeing all of these different sets. You had Manor Park Primary School was here, where like Leo and Gemma was. Then there'd be like a house just on its own where
And the bar.
all of that was there, and there was like the police station and Brookside Comp, and then the building used to curve around like that, and then they took us onto the set, and then it'd just be this tiny little alleyway. You turn the corner and there's Brookside Parade, and then they're going in and having a pint, but obviously it wasn't a real pint. It'd be all water that'd be kept under the bar, and they'd put like a little tiny bit of something in just to give it its colour. And but the idea of seeing how it worked and all that kind of thing was just amazing.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Whenever I go on to any set now, it's still amazing. It really is. It's really so clever how the whole thing works. We're only a small part of it.
And went into the canteen, and it was all just like tables and chairs, and the Dixons were there. And I took a step back because I thought, I'm walking into the cast-only room and I'm going to get shunned if Ron Dixon showed to me. I couldn't live it down. But no, that was the real place. And then looking up, it had like a mezzanine floor, and that's where Grant's restaurant was. It was just surreal. And then it was, you'd film it, and then it'd be on screen 6 weeks later. Just absolutely surreal.
I know, it is. It's bizarre.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
Anything else?
Bro.
Do we conclude it or? Yeah.
Do we
We
just
did.
walk off?
Yeah.
Eject the cease.
Yeah. You're done. Get out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Can I just
Thank
do
you.
one thing we used to do on the set?
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Thank you very much for watching Brookside Close-Up Podcast. We're hoping that there will be more episodes. So please like and subscribe to this channel.
Thank you for watching.